Why one Southeast Texas pastor is not letting the coronavirus keep him from his congregation. He's hosting in-person church this Easter weekend. Racial disparities in the data, who's affected most by COVID-19, and how the president's coronavirus task force is responding tonight.
And our weather is quiet right now. That will likely not last as we head towards Sunday.
Fox 4 News at 9 starts now.
Good evening, Southeast Texas. I'm Tiffany Murphy. Let's begin tonight with a look at our forecast. We have had some interesting weather this week and more to come this weekend.
Yeah, you know, we had some pretty bad storms yesterday in spots. Sunday looks more active, unfortunately. So we have a certain situation we have to watch it very closely. The threat of severe weather is certainly in place by the time we get to Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon. Let's take a look outside right now, though. Everything's fine. This is over the Port of Orange. In fact, Saturday doesn't look too bad at all weather-wise. Sponsored by Thermocon. Down at the Port of Port Arthur, it's 72 for the high there, 67 right now on the Market Basket Weather Net. And pretty gusty winds earlier, and they had about a half an inch of rain just after midnight. Now, here's the threat of severe weather coming up for Sunday. We're in the enhanced risk area, which on a scale of 1 to 5 is a 3, pretty high levels. But the highest threat will likely be just to our northeast over central Louisiana, stretching into Alabama and Mississippi. Also, quick look at the algae report for tomorrow. Should stay high on grass pollen and tree pollen. So Saturday not too bad, but Sunday we'll have to pay attention. We'll have the details on that in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Greg. New numbers were just released tonight, only a short time ago, in our 6-county area when it comes to COVID-19 statistics. Here's a look at that. We now have 216 positive COVID-19 cases, 8 deaths. Now let's take a look at the breakdown. 109 cases in Jefferson County. When we take a closer look, a majority of those cases, 70 in Beaumont, then 22 in Port Arthur, with 5 each in Groves and Nederland. Now to Hardin County tonight, where there are 57 confirmed cases, 31 in Lumberton, 22 in Silsbee. Now again, this isn't a total breakdown. It's just the cities where the majority of cases have been identified. And then in Orange County, 39 cases there, 10 each in Vidor and Orange, with 4 each in Orangefield and Pine Forest. Then tonight, 6 in Jasper County, 4 in Tyler County, and 1 in Newton County. Tonight, we know the Easter holiday is upon us. Usually it brings a lot of folks gathering from all over the country, all over the world. Fox 4's Victoria White reports how one Port Arthur pastor is taking COVID-19 precautions while bringing people together like they've never done before.
Several churches in Port Arthur are preparing for Easter services, like this one. Life Church is worshiping via Facebook Live video streaming.
It's Jessica and I, and we have
one of our kids
running a camera, and 2 of our pastors here at the church.
Jessica and Donnie Robbins are pastors here. They've been doing church virtually for about a month now. Easter will be no different.
The only thing that's different is that the people are not physically here in the room. But we've heard back from people, and they say they feel the presence of God in their homes. They're gathering with their families.
Yeah. They're able to respond in real time through social media.
While the online feed is going, we are able to respond to the people as they are commenting. And so it's kind of like our whole family from all over the place. Everybody is all together through the comments.
Reach audiences around the world and even connect with new people.
People are still there. They're just on the other side of that camera. And one of the amazing things that we found is that we're hearing back from folks, not only our church people, the people that come to Live Church, but other people that they're sharing it, and people are watching that may have never come to church.
The husband and wife duo says their faith is helping them through the time of COVID-19.
I can't imagine going through this without Jesus. There's such a peace that passes all understanding. There really, truly is, because our hope is in Him.
As they celebrate the resurrection of Christ with others from afar. In Port Arthur, Victoria White, Fox 4, working for you.
And every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, they also give out about 100 Bible lesson craft packets for kids by drive-through at the church there. You can follow them on Facebook as well. Meantime, though, another pastor in Port Arthur says he has no intention of keeping people away from his Easter services on Sunday. Odwin Jacobs and his wife Evelyn opened Victory Inner City Ministries 10 years ago. It's a small church on Lewis Drive, and it's continued to host in-person services for its congregation throughout the pandemic. Pastor Jacob says so many people who had not been going to church are now wanting to seek comfort in houses of worship. He says there's enough room for his church members to stay a safe distance from each other. And he says if too many show up, well, he'll hold services outside.
It was just impossible for me to just close the doors and walk off and not be made available for the people. Because being in leadership and a pastor, the first sign of faith should be in that leader. So I have to stand in faith for my people and those whoever may want to come in, that they can actually see faith tangible and working.
Pastor Jacob says his ministry has been blessed with N95 masks for church members who might want to wear them during services. He's also donating them to hospitals and essential employees in Southeast Texas. Happening now, a church's 24-hour project to reach out to the community is underway right now on this Good Friday. Fox 4's Ian Chris reports the pandemic is changing how Harvest for Lost Souls carries out the project, but not the mission itself.
Good Friday is normally a busy time at Harvest for Lost Souls Church in Beaumont. COVID-19 changed that, but its mission is the same.
God, I pray right now, God, that you're covering them and you're protecting them from every evil germ, disease, sickness.
Good Friday is an amazing time for us to get started in our Serve 24.
Serve 24, an annual Good Friday project in which church members go out into the community each hour from Good Friday until Saturday and perform a good deed.
We decided years ago that this weekend, which is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, that we'll escalate it a little bit and do something a little bit more every hour on the hour.
Something new this year, a prayer wall, to get the community involved in Serve 24.
So you just drop by 3395 Highland and just put in your prayer request, and we pray over it. Now, this will not go down after Easter.
Pastor Kennedy Andrews and his wife aren't doing this alone. Beaumont City Councilwoman Robbie Mouton was just one of the many helping hands.
Life is different as we know it, but we can still be a service to our community. We're just having to serve in a different way.
Pastor Deanna Andrews serves snacks to the sheriff's office since neither visitors nor vendors are allowed.
We want to present this basket filled with goodies to Sergeant Miller on today, and hope that it makes your evening go a whole lot better.
Brightening lives and spirits every hour on this Good Friday into Saturday afternoon. In Beaumont, Ian Chris, Fox 4, working for you.
And Serve 24 will continue until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Disproportionate numbers of African Americans requiring hospitalization because of COVID-19. The reason? More underlying medical conditions. Dr. Anthony Fauci with the president's coronavirus task force says we need to address the health disparities in the U.S. Here's Fox 4's Joy Addison.
Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, says the COVID-19 outbreak is shining a bright light on how unacceptable the health disparities between blacks and whites are. Dr. Fauci says of minorities, quote, yet again, when you have a situation like the coronavirus, they are suffering disproportionately, end quote. But why?
The African American community has typically had less access to preventive care. And so you can imagine that after a while that will place a person at risk for developing chronic diseases and conditions.
This nurse practitioner works largely with the African American community in Beaumont. He says when initial COVID-19 reports claimed those with underlying health issues to be more at risk, he immediately thought of the community traditionally disproportionately affected by most health disparities.
A large number of people in the African American community here in Beaumont are stricken with diabetes, high blood pressure, COPD, which can include emphysema, asthma, and so all of these chronic diseases place the African American community at a higher risk for contracting COVID and also for having a negative outcome with COVID.
And in nearby Houston, African Americans account for 8 of the 12 deaths, according to Mayor Sylvester Turner.
We need to be, again, addressing those social determinants of health for our clients. We need to, number one, make sure that they have transportation to their appointments. We need to work to get them navigated into systems of care where their chronic diseases can be well managed.
Young says education and outreach will help lower the risks of negative social determinants of health, encouraging preventative care. In Beaumont, Joy Addison, Fox 4, working for you.
For COVID-19 provisional death counts released by the CDC, we've posted them on our website. That's fox4beaumont.com. Developing tonight, Lumberton police working on this Good Friday, not only patrolling the streets, but checking inside of businesses. Here's Fox 4's Paige Hubbard.
Police in Lumberton are not only doing their normal patrols outside on city streets, they're also doing some indoor work.
We started checking our stores and going by, making sure people were not getting too many people in the store.
Lumberton Police Chief Danny Sullen says the decision to do spot checks across the city came quickly after County Judge Wayne McDaniel issued an order, as did other judges across the region, to limit the number of people going inside stores.
And that was early on. Now it's when we walk through the stores, people are for the most part, are complying. We've had a couple of calls here, there, and yonder about different stores that aren't, and we've gone and visited with them and got them on board, and folks are doing a really good job up here.
Chief Sullen says stores are doing a good job of ensuring the safety of everyone.
Walmart, Market Basket, HEB are obviously our 3 larger stores, and their employees are doing an excellent job seeing that people are complying by that, and we're going behind them and checking it, and we're seeing good results.
The job will continue until the emergency order ends, the chief and his officers vowing to serve the public while they served up lunch behind the station with food their wives and loved ones brought by on this Good Friday. Paige Hubbard, Fox 4, working for you.
Announcing that more than 200 Texans have died from the virus, Governor Greg Abbott talking to Texans today, comparing our state to others. It may seem like a lower number, but he says it's still far too many people.
Of all these other states in the United States that have far more infectious rate and far more people who have tested positive for COVID-19, Texas ranks second most in the United States of America for the most people who have recovered from COVID-19.
An influential coronavirus model calls today the peak day for new deaths and Saturday as the peak for hospitalizations. That's according to the University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation. As many celebrate Easter and Passover, health experts say to stay inside and socially distance, keeping yourself and your family safe.
As Americans prepare for a holiday weekend, health experts telling people they should continue to practice social distancing.
I know, particularly in a season like the Easter season and Passover, how difficult that is. But we really need to do it because it is working.
In the midst of grief and pain, we're seeing clear signs that our aggressive strategy is saving countless lives.
But Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, says it's not time to declare victory.
The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get out there prematurely and then wind up you're right back in the same situation.
That's why stay-at-home orders remain in place around the country, and why officials are trying to prevent outbreaks like the one in New York State, now reporting more coronavirus cases than any other place in the world.
The bad news is we continue to lose a tremendous number of lives and endure great pain as a state.
Dr. Fauci indicating that just as the death toll peaks in New York and around the country, the number of hospitalizations will drop. He also continues to say that how the virus spreads will determine the timeline to reopen the country.
Now is the time to actually put your foot on the accelerator because we're going in the right direction. Let's keep in that direction.
I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
We have no real weather problems for tonight or tomorrow. The difficulty is Easter Sunday. We'll take a look.